Anyway, so somehow I wasn't, because again, I'm fast forwarding to get to the next match. And I see Owens and Zayn, and they're in the back standing by the anvil cases or whatever. But here comes Gunther and his stooges, and basically he pisses off Kevin Owens, who now is apparently noted for his insane temper. Just the uncontrollable, maniacal fury that he breaks out into whenever he loses control of himself. You've heard this many times about Owens.
Yeah, I guess this outweighs the pacifist in Sami Zayn.
Yes, you got an unstable maniac on one side and a pacifistic individual on the other side, trying to keep them calm.
The sane-insane connection.
You're doing the market. Yeah, this is creative services stuff. Where the fuck is the notepad? We don't need to call creatives. Debbie Bonanzio over at Creative Services. That's who Vince would want to get on the phone. Anyway, so Owens just says, come on, let's fight. And he storms out to the ring with Zayn in tow for a match that he apparently just decided they should have on this national television program. And as he's walking out there, the announcer's like, well, I hope somebody makes this official. And son of a bitch, wouldn't you know who won the pony, Brian? They made it official. I couldn't believe, I thought it was going to be a lot of red tape, going through a lot of fucking governmental hoops and ladders and etc. But no, boom, it was done. So I watched this because I love Gunther, and old KO can go when he wants to be a fucking team player. But you know, I've got to put Owens over because I think physically he looks the best he's ever looked. Now you may say, Cornette, that's faint praise. Because Owens did you hear about this when he went to a plastic surgeon?
No.
He went to a plastic surgeon. He said, Doc, make me look like I did 20 years ago. The doctor said, what, you want me to put the tail back on?
Oh, stop it.
So anyway.
You'd be nice.
Well, I'm trying. So anyway, he does physically look better than he had, and it's not a rib. He still looks like shit compared to all the tanned, oiled guys that go to the gym, but he's easily 30 pounds lighter or more than he was in the Ring of Honor days when we asked him to lose weight. And he's tattooed his pale, flabby arms to the point where even though he doesn't or can't tan, all of the really white, pale skin with stretch marks is covered up with tattoos. And even though his gear is still somewhat baggy, they make him wash it and it all matches. You remember what we used to deal with when he was in Ring of Honor, when he would come out there with the furniture disease where his chest was in his drawers and just wearing whatever baggy stretch shit that he had. And we couldn't get him to even trim the beard. So the point is they've done what they can with him here, and he's apparently cooperated with it, and he don't look as bad as he used to. But he could always work. That's what the issue was. And he could work here, and Gunther's great. And again, they work this where they're portraying Gunther as a dominant physical force that usually carries the fight to the opponents, and the opponent has to sell and fight back from underneath, and Owens did a great job of that because he can sell and he can fight back from underneath. They still went to break when they started the thing in 2 minutes, for fuck's sake, but they kept a pace up. And again, Gunther's good. He's solid. He's aggressive. He explodes when he needs to, with whether it be the chop or the clothesline or whatever, and then slows it back down and is deliberate and acts like a heel. And they got a long, old-fashioned heat on Owens where he would get hope spots. He would try to fight back. He would succeed in fighting back. But before he could make his comeback, Gunther had shut him back down. So he was still in the underneath position. And then Again, there was a part where Owens finally reversed a German. They were both down. They traded forearms. Gunther shut him down again. But then he made the mistake of toying with him, and Owens was up with a flurry of super kicks and the cannonball in the corner where he puts his ass in the guy's face upside down. Good Lord, that potentially should be deadly. And he got a 2 count with that, but then they start going back and forth. And finally, again, they built to the finish. They didn't do all their big shit until at the last, as they should be. Owens went to the top. Owens hit a fisherman buster, as they call it, and got a 2 count. Owens went to the top, but Gunther hit the superplex 2 count. Gunther went to the top and came off, but Owens got his knees up on the splash, and then he went up and hit a swanton and got a 2 count. So they're building them. And then suddenly, one of the Stooges pops up. Sammy jerks him down. Both the Stooges jump Sammy. Owens rolls out on the floor. And Owens throws one of the Stooges back in the ring in front of the referee and stunners him and stands up, and Gunther schoolboys him from behind 1, 2, 3. And again, in front of the referee. It should have been a disqualification. There was no reason to throw the fucking guy in the ring, except that I'm sure Owens wanted to hit a stunner, and that was the only way he could hit a stunner. But it didn't make any sense to throw the guy in the ring, be active with him, referee standing there and looking at it, and then be so stupid that you just stand up and the guy schoolboys you from behind 1, 2, 3. So it was a really good match with a rotten finish that just came out of nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, I can't add too much to it other than I think the match was an interesting match. People were really into it. We heard from people that wanted you to watch it. The fans got really into it. And although it's a preposterous setup, and again, just all of a sudden, angry Kevin Owens, what? Let's go! And it just creates a match. He storms off. Yeah, the guy's panting while Kevin's screaming.
Yeah, it's usually the way that it happens. Kevin starts screaming, the other guy's panting.
And then, usually those are the guys in the office, though. But then, even like the Imperium, how many times is this guy, Wilhelm or whatever his name is, going to walk up just slowly, like he's extending gentleman to an unnatural degree that is getting silly.
Well, and that's what they've done with the Stooges. They don't win anything, or if they do fluke win something, it's over underneath people. They get beat up 2-on-1 by upper baby faces, and generally just there to make a nuisance of themselves. You can't take them seriously of their own accord.
Now, with that said, once Gunther showed up in the middle of them, exposing or kind of giving away that they're not going to do a tag team match, thank God. Because again, they always lose. You know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
You realize you're going to get a Gunther match. It's going to be one of these guys. If it's happened, I haven't seen it, but I was intrigued by Gunther Owens, and they did it right away. We did hear that Vince, one of the things he did work on was the arrangement of the segments.
The order of events, as we say in the industry.
What went where? So you have to wonder, maybe in the original script, this wasn't going to happen right away. Maybe it was to set up something later in the show, but, the setup was preposterous, but having the match right away kind of gave it some spirit where it didn't expect it. Yeah. And the fans
you didn't have all that time to literally between the first segment setting something up for the main event and the main event, you have time to watch Gone with the Wind. And so you forget sometimes.
I'm sure we'll get Gunther versus Sammy one of these weeks. I worry about when it becomes, well, they already kind of exposed when it becomes a trios feud, who the third party is going to be with Sammy and Owens. But it was a good match. It was the best match on Raw in a while, I think.
And you know what? With Gunther, he instantly adds a little bit more seriousness when he's involved in something, as you said. And I would love to see Gunther and Sammy, because Sammy, when he's in his element and everybody's with him, the crowd, is a Ricky Morton level seller. And that's what he could get some emotion out of people with Gunther. So at least, something interesting. But unfortunately, that they're the tag team champions. We don't want to see them in any tag team matches.
And for whatever we want to say about how bad they treat everyone else, at least they're keeping Gunther strong still.
Well, yeah, but then after getting beaten up in that match, the next thing they showed was in the back, the Gunther Stooges got both of them beaten up by Riddle himself. They went and pissed him off, and he chucked one over a case and put a submission hold on the other one, and they had to pull him off of him. The guy was screaming. So what? They got beat up in the finish of the match in the arena, and then came to the back, and one guy beat him up again. I rest my case.